Okay, well, I am so glad to have you guys with me today. My name is Lauren Braden, and I'm going to be doing this BYOB presentation for you today, which is short for Becoming Your Own Boss by Building Your Own Business. I'm going to lay out some facts for you and share my story and the stories of others so that you can make an educated decision about starting your own business, no matter which avenue you choose to take. So feel free to take notes or take screenshots of the slides. That would be fine too as we go through and try to help you on your journey to BYOB. Now, I do want to make a little disclaimer about this. So let me go ahead and share my screen so we can get this presentation up here. All right. So I am a speech pathologist by trade, but I am with the JuicePlus company. So a lot of this information is going to be applied directly to the JuicePlus business, but I really think that the principles laid out in this presentation are beneficial to any avenue that you choose to take. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. So BYOB, do you have what it takes? Do you feel like you have what it takes to be your own boss? And I've discovered that it's not as easy as it sounds over the past few months. Are you mission driven? Would you like to design your future? Would you like to choose when and where you work? Do you want your work to have more meaning? What would you do if you had all the time, money, and abilities that were available? Would you spend more time volunteering or give back monetarily to your favorite organization? Maybe you just like to spend more time with your family or homeschool your kids. I know for me, my family has always been my biggest motivator. I missed spending time with my kids, and I longed for something more than just the daily grind of working full-time, being a full-time mom, and I hated always being in a hurry. It didn't matter what I was doing, I was in a hurry. So here's what led me here. I did what most people in my age group did. I graduated from high school. I went on to college. I eventually got my Master of Science degree from Texas Women's University. I got a full-time job right out of college, and I started my career as a speech pathologist. So my passion has always been on helping the disadvantaged, especially babies with feeding disorders and children with hearing impairments and special needs. I've worked in the home health setting on a couple occasions, and I found my love within early childhood intervention. I love my work as a speech pathologist, but balancing family life and working full-time quickly became a struggle. Not knowing of any other way, I just continued to struggle because what else was I going to do? I tried to cope. Things were hard to manage, and I was exhausted beyond comprehension. But I kept going because I had no other choice. I had to trade my time in order to make money for my family like most people do. We were broke. We were in debt. We had little retirement, no savings, and very little financial security. So my health when I started working my full-time career was not the best. I was 50 pounds overweight and had just given birth to my son. Things took a turn for the worst when I was diagnosed with lupus in 2014 after a very stressful foster placement, because we are also foster parents too. I followed doctor's orders, and I started a medication regimen of disease-modifying anti-rheumatic drugs. I got on consistent pain medications. I was able to control my symptoms for the most part, but like most degenerative diseases, things slowly started to get worse over the years. So by 2017, I was having a lupus flare about once a month or two, and I was on steroids each time I had a lupus flare. My diet was horrible. I had no comprehension of what a good diet was. I was chronically exhausted. Didn't matter how much caffeine I consumed or how much sleep I got. I couldn't get ahead in my health, and I figured things were just as good as they were going to get because, again, I didn't know there was anything else out there. So at the beginning of 2017, my pain levels were out of control. Pain medication was not working anymore. My pain medication was increased, still didn't work. I was still chronically exhausted. I was drinking 3 cups of coffee a day and an energy drink, and I still wanted a nap in the afternoon. My kids were always sick, but I thought that this was our life and this was just what I had to deal with. That's just what we had. Then a friend from college introduced me to JuicePlus. Having a health story of her own, I was intrigued about what she had gone through and how she got better. I was desperate for some relief, and I knew that there was far more variety in the capsules than what I'd ever eat or buy, like kale, papaya, bilberry, didn't even know bilberry was a thing, and so on. So the children's health study also gave me the incentive to get my son healthier for free, as he was on antibiotics at least every couple of months for ear infections. I figured I had nothing to lose, so I just dove right in. So being an allied health professional, I was definitely a skeptic at first, but I discovered that the JuicePlus brand is the most researched nutritional product in the world. I've never taken any supplement or medication that could boast that fact. JuicePlus has 38 gold standard university research studies available, with more in process from prestigious universities and institutes around the world. So this is kind of what convinced me to give it a try, because it was already backed by all of these universities and research. So here's where I was. I had been with the same company since graduation. I was a speech pathologist, and I typically got a 1% raise every year in August. So in August 2017, it was about time for my raise to come around. And I was really surprised when it didn't. I didn't see the piece of paper that said, hey, guess what? You're getting a 1% raise. So I asked my boss if I was going to get a raise, and she was like, oh yeah, it's a 2% raise every 2 years. And I was floored. I was just so shocked. And mind you, in early childhood intervention, it's a nonprofit agency. So I knew that I wasn't going to make the big bucks when I came into this job, but a 2% raise every 2 years, it was no wonder that we weren't making ends meet and that we were constantly falling behind on bills, because a 2% raise every 2 years does not fight inflation. It just doesn't meet it. So I had no opportunities for advancement with my speech pathology job. And aside from supervising students, which I absolutely loved, I loved being a mentor. I just wanted more for my family. So I love my career. I still am PRN with my company, but I had to do what made the most sense for us in the long run, not just for today, not just for next month, but for years from now. So life happens to all of us, right? The information on this slide is astounding, but it's true. 50% of marriages end in divorce. Finances are among the top contributors to divorce. The number is even higher for families with a child with special needs, just because of the added stress that brings. A woman's standard of living is decreased by 73% the first year after divorce, which is just so sad. The average widow is 50 to 58 years old, and people over 50 are finding it next to impossible to find work due to younger people entering the workforce. Retirement is also bleak for most of us. I was just mentioning that. Social Security to Sharon before we started. 20% of people who work to 65 years old retire below the poverty line, with more than 50% of all retirees being fully dependent on relatives' welfare or Social Security. And my grandparents are in that boat right now, with my parents and my uncle having to support their needs. So, and to top it all off, 60% of Americans have less than $10,000 in savings, which for most of us wouldn't even take us through 6 months. So it's pretty scary. So more and more businesses are changing their structure, and more stores are closing because of it. 68 Macy's stores, 180 Kmart's. I miss Kmart so much. They don't have Kmart's anymore. 42 Sears stores, and all limited stores are gone. And think about this, the largest transportation provider doesn't even own a car, and it's Uber or Lyft. The largest accommodations provider doesn't even own a building, it's Airbnb. Amazon just passed Walmart as the nation's biggest retailer, and they don't even own a storefront. And of course, it's no wonder why, because everybody loves having things shipped to their door. Entrepreneur Magazine says, invest in something other than your job. Health-related, anti-aging, fitness and prevention, or wellness-based. And for me, the JuicePlus company just fit all of those bills. So here are some important things to consider before you start a business or invest in a business. And this certainly does not just apply to, the JuicePlus business, but for anything that you decide you want to delve into and take a leap of faith for. Think about, what's consumable? What is something that people will continue to buy for years to come? What is doable and what works for your schedule? Because all companies require different things from us, right? What do you have time for? So when I first started, I worked full time. I had a family. I had a home when I started this business, but I was still able to fit in just a couple to a few hours a week to start. And what do you have the money for? So we'll go over the cost of a typical business on the next slide. I certainly didn't have tens of thousands of dollars to start. I didn't even have $1,000 to start. So, and what do you have the expertise for? I didn't have much of any entrepreneurial experience to go off of. So I needed something that provided ongoing training for free from the top professionals in the company. So here's the reality, and this is crazy. The estimated cost for setting up and operating a Subway restaurant for the first 3 months ranges between $86,000 and $264,000, depending on the location type. Branding and marketing are also very expensive. 50% of small businesses fail within the first 5 years, and 20% will fail within the first year of startup, which is so sad. These facts solidify that you need to make a smart business decision from the start, or you'll just end up in huge, huge debt for many years to come. I'm gonna get a drink, guys. So I love this next slide. So here's what most of us are looking at. This chart comes from Robert Kiyosaki's book of the cash flow quadrant. The majority of us fit into this point. Where is it? Employee, right here. That's where most of us are. We trade our time for money and we put all our eggs in one basket, hoping the key holder, or AKA our boss, stays happy with us and doesn't take all of our eggs away. A few fit into this box down here, the self-employed. They also trade their time for money, but they pay their business expenses first and then they pay themselves. Both the employee and the self-employed have zero leverage here. They account for 95% of the population, but only 5% of the wealth. On the right side of the chart over here, you have your business owner and the investor. The business owner has a well-oiled system with people working for and with them. The business owner and the investor earn passive income. Their income does not rely on their presence. There is definite leverage here, right? So if you're sick for 2 weeks, your business continues to work for you. Business owners and investors account for only 5% of the population, but 95% of the wealth. Holy cannolis. So which side do you want to be on? Because I know I would definitely rather be on the passive income and residual income part. So I decided to make the shift from just being an employee to being a small business owner when our foster daughter came to us in May. With at least 20 therapy and doctor's visits every single month, there was just no way that I could fit everything in and stay a nice mom. So with a lot of prayer and consideration and a huge leap of faith, I made the switch to being a full-time entrepreneur instead. I chose to do something that very few people do in order to achieve than most people do later on down the line. So over the next 5 years, 79 million Americans will choose a home-based business. That's an increase from 40 to 60% of Americans. But be sure that you choose wisely, something with a lower initial investment and more opportunities for advancement and incentives. So why not the wellness industry? Take a look at these statistics. 1 in 3 will suffer from cardiovascular disease. 1 in 3 women will develop cancer. 1 in 2 men will develop cancer. 1 in 3 people will develop diabetes by 2050. 1 in 3 people is obese. 116 million people are living with chronic pain, and I was one of those just a couple years ago. The U.S. national healthcare expenditures are approaching $3 trillion a year, which is crazy. And up to 85 to 90% of disease is preventable with proper nutrition, which blows my mind, and I had no idea. But this is definitely what's bankrupting our country, right? Because we're spending so much on healthcare, which is really sick care, and people are struggling all the way around. We're struggling with our health, we're struggling with our finances, and it's just affecting our country as a whole. So maybe it's time for you to draw your own line in the sand, just like I did a few months ago. Step out in faith and make a decision that will change you and your family's life forever. Do you want to be the average American family, or do you want to be on the right side of that cash flow quadrant and have some leverage? So I love this quote. I really didn't know a whole lot about Bill Gates, but and I didn't know anything about network marketing when I first started, but one of the richest men in the world would choose network marketing if he had to start over again. And I would think that Bill Gates probably knows a thing or two about money. I didn't have a clue, like I said, what network marketing was when I started, but I've discovered that it really is the best way to earn a life, not just a living, because it builds businesses based on relationships, not just sales. Because I'm not an outgoing person. I'm not a sales type of person, and I hate that like icky salesperson feeling that you get when someone's approaching you with something and it just makes you build a wall immediately. I didn't want to do that. And so that's why this network marketing thing, it just made the most sense, because it was just based on relationship. I just talked to people that I already knew, and it just has grown from there. So I got to work. I had a health transformation of my own, and people started noticing. I just told my story, and people ordered because they wanted a story of their own. I get to travel for work. I tell others about the gift of good health through fruits and vegetables, and I get to meet amazing people. I spend time developing myself with the help of mentors at the top of this company, and I've already made so many memories. Here is me and my mom at conference last year. And this is my the sponsor, the gal that got me into the JuicePlus business, and this is her mom. So it's just so much fun to be around these people. Really, really sweet people. So with this product, at least, we have hope through science, backed by 38 research studies and counting, and based on the track record of so many ordinary people that have made extraordinary lives for themselves, including many that have advanced degrees and years in the medical field. I knew that when I heard amazing stories from pharmacists and doctors that are part of this company, at the top level of this company, I knew there was probably something to that. So this is everything that the JuicePlus company does for us. They make the product, they process the order, they ship the product, they collect payments, they manage and protect our customers' data, and they send me a check in direct deposit. JuicePlus truly cares about its franchisees and takes really good care of us. And these are just things that, you know, if you're thinking about starting a small business, look into the specifics of the company. You know, if they don't have it online, I would call them up and see what the specifics are. So I want to take just a quick minute to talk about the company behind JuicePlus. Jay Martin founded the JuicePlus company about 50 years ago, and his vision is to build a stable and lasting company that helps as many people as possible realize their dreams. This is why JuicePlus is sold the way it is, person to person, to help us realize our dreams. It's a privately held and debt-free company with $14 billion in sales. The debt-free part really got my attention. The company is on track for $1 billion per year by 2020. It's a product-driven company. 80% of JuicePlus is purchased by customers who have no affiliation with the company whatsoever. Over the years, this company has had many breakthrough products and programs like JuicePlus, the Children's Health Study, the Tower Garden. There's no territorial restrictions. The JuicePlus company is in over 20 countries around the world. It's the largest selling nutritional product in a capsule in the world. And the research is what truly sets it apart to me. So as far as the JuicePlus Virtual Franchise goes, it's only $50 a year. You get your own personal website, resources to help you grow, and access to some of the best mentors that the company offers. All commission levels are permanent, which was huge to me. I will not name names, but I was part of another network marketing company back when I was in graduate school, and the commission levels were not permanent. And that hurt really bad because I was doing really good for maybe a month or two, and then I lost all of it. So it was really sad. Advancements open to anyone and everyone. The more you grow your business, the more the company gives back. At the top positions, families are eligible for benefits including medical, dental, vision, long-term care, life insurance, disability, chiropractic, prescription, college tuition assistance, holiday bonuses, and a monthly expense allowance. Plus, there are no inventories or quotas that you have to keep up with. And you're really a blessing whether you do a little bit or a lot. So this is basically what we do. This is what I do. When I started, I was in dire need of better nutrition and better health. And now that I have both of those in my hand, I'm just paying it forward. I just want to share this good message. My paycheck is a direct reflection of how many people that I've helped, not the number of hours that I've worked for somebody else to build their dream. One of the things that I love about this company is how they pay it forward too. That's a really big thing nowadays. You hear about a lot of companies that, you buy a pair of shoes and they'll give a pair of shoes to somebody else. It's all about philanthropy nowadays. So in addition to taking great care of its representatives, they also give back monetarily to these organizations in big, big ways. JuicePlus is the title sponsor of the St. Jude's Marathon each year. In 2016, $10 million was raised for the Children's Hospital. The company is donating over 4,000 tower gardens to every Boys and Girls Club in North America. They've even created a technical institute for students, and 100% of the graduates have been placed in jobs, which is crazy. The company is donating 10 million complete meals through Volunteers of America, and this is why they're a mission-driven company. Jay Martin's initial concept was not to make himself rich. It was to help other people realize their dreams and just give back in the process. And this is the beauty of network marketing. This is something that I still don't completely understand, but I'll try to break it down. So the compound effect. So over here in the upper left here, you can see that if you tell 2 people about the business and then they tell 2 people, you've reached 4 people. If you tell 3 people and they tell 3 people, you've reached 9 people, and so on and so forth. So the more lives that you touch, the greater your paycheck. And this is honestly all about leveraging your energy. So it's easier to tell 2 people and then tell them, hey, tell 2 more people, than it is to tell 6 people, right? However many that is. So, and you really don't have to do a whole lot of work to produce some income. So here, if 24 households buy the fruits, veggies, and berries, that sends you a check of $376. If 40 households buy that same product, that's $627. That could be a car payment. It could be a hefty deposit into an investment account. It could be savings for a vacation. You name it. A lot of people just want to earn enough money to pay for their product, which is also great. And that's what I started with. I just wanted to pay for it because I saw what a big difference it made in my own health. And here's the power of residual income that I mentioned earlier. So it comes down to which one you think is easier. Is it easier to save and then invest $120,000 to make $6,000 through interest up here? Or is it easier to reach 40 households with better nutrition and make the exact same amount? So if you teach 3 distributors how to get their own households, then that number just increases to $15,000 a year. So again, it's just about leveraging your energy. I know it would probably take me a really long time to save up $120,000 and then invest it. So this is definitely just the easier and faster way to go. So here's the JuicePlus marketing plan. Some people reach the top in a year or 2. Some take up to 5 years. Some take 10 to 15 years. And some are just super happy to be somewhere in the middle right here. Advancement is open to all, but it's not required, as retail sales profits and commissions are available at all positions, with bonuses starting at the first promotion level. The top level earns the benefits package that I mentioned earlier, which includes medical, vision, dental insurance, life insurance, promote out bonuses, tuition reimbursement, and the list goes on. So this actually goes to a link. Hopefully it will work okay. So what would your ideal interview look like? This just makes me giggle.
Hey guys, my name is Holly Morris, and I am a National Marketing Director with the JuicePlus Company. And I just wonder what your belief is about this virtual franchise opportunity that you have at your fingertips for yourself and to share with other people. If you're like me, maybe you understand corporate America, but you don't really have a really great understanding of a virtual franchise and how it's similar, how it's different. And so I want to read something to you that I think might help you have a better understanding of that. So pretend like you're in a job interview, and during the interview, this boss asks you, we'd love to hear from you. What are you seeking for compensation? And you go, oh my goodness, I'm so thankful that you asked me. I've written down just a few things, so I'm so glad that you asked. I would like 22% commission and 15% retail profit on everything that I sell. And I want a professional website for my prospects and a private office of my own where I can keep track of everything about my work, including my customers, my earnings, and all the progress of my team. And I need to set my own schedule and work when it suits me and my family. And, you know, if, for example, we go on vacation for a couple of weeks or maybe a month, I'm still going to need to be compensated for that time. I hope that's not a problem. And I expect the company to provide me with all the free training that I need from prestigious doctors and nurses so that I can really become knowledgeable. And I also expect the company I work for to manufacture the product, warehouse it, ship it to the end users, handle the payment processing, and I don't really want to purchase any inventory either. So I hope we can work that out. And when I bring in and train new family members of my onto my team, I really want to be compensated a percentage of their sales and the sales of the people they bring in too, like maybe, you know, 5 to 9%. I'm thinking is good. And I want the opportunity to really rapidly advance within the marketing band and never get demoted. I also want the chance to earn a bonus for every single promotion that I earn. And when I do well, it's kind of my love language. It's important to me that I have a lot of praise and recognition. And I also want to get a bonus when I help other people get their bonus too. And kind of like I said a second ago, I really want my family members and the friends that I choose to be able to work here with me. And when I do well and prove myself, I'm going to need an expense allowance. I'm thinking like maybe $3,000 a month would be helpful as I grow my business. And I'd also like tuition reimbursement for my immediate family members and a Christmas bonus every year. I'm thinking like $1,000, you know, at Christmas would be really nice. And, you know, just one more thing. I also need a full benefits package for everyone in my family, including life, medical, disability, long-term health care, dental, and vision. And I really want to show you that this is a two-way street, so I'm willing to give you $50 every single year. How's that sound? So after he probably laughs and rolls on the floor and says, "You're crazy, you're never going to find an opportunity like that, and if you do, come get me because I want to work with you." And you guys, you have it. You have it right here in the JuicePlus Virtual Franchise at your fingertips. So I hope that builds your belief up and gives you a little bit of better understanding of the gift that you have to offer people. Take care.
All right, so that video just cracks me up because Holly is such a sweet girl. She is so sweet. Okay. All right, so do you have what it takes? You know, we already kind of mentioned that. Do you have a servant or mission-minded heart? Do you put others' needs above your own? Which I'm pretty sure, I already know Janelle has that servant heart. And Sharon, I'm pretty sure that if Janelle invited you, you probably do too. So are you teachable and coachable? Can you take constructive feedback? Do you have a good work ethic? Are you a team player and interdependent with your skills? Not overly independent, but can work well with a team, which I would think so. And this is the power of building a team. Like with any business, you have to put in some hard work in the beginning, but the longer you keep at it, the more benefits that you reap. So let's get down to a few nuts and bolts of how you can do this if you're too busy, since we all are. And a goal without a plan is just a wish. I'm going to try to run through these so you guys can get back to what you need to do. So life is not a dress rehearsal. This is it. You have to begin with the end in mind and make a plan to get there. Remember that budgeting your time and efforts will lead to freedom for sure. Without a budget, who knows where our time or money goes. And time is the great equalizer. It doesn't matter who tells you otherwise. We can't manage our time. We can just manage our choices. We all have the same amount of time in a day. And in this business, we have the privilege of leveraging our time to make the most of it. So one of the great exercises that I love to have people do is write down where they spend their time, either in a notebook or your phone or whatever. Just make some notes, because the fact of the matter is most of us do have a few minutes a day that we could devote to building our dreams. If you don't dictate your calendar, it will dictate you and it will dictate our futures. So this is such a great quote. Jim Rohn is an awesome network marketer. If you really just want some general insight and wisdom about network marketing, he is a great place to start. He said, if you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. And that's just kind of the heart of most of these big corporations. An employee is just an employee building someone else's dreams. Oops, So here's why I do what I do. I get to spend much more time with my kids. That's my son on the far right, making a very strange face, and on the far left, I get to attend his school events and not regret missing them, which has been a huge blessing. This is my mom again right here. This is one of my sweet friends and distributors from church, and this is another one of my distributors, just making memories together and just having a blast. So JuicePlus is beneficial for all ages. Sharon, I'm not sure if you're familiar with JuicePlus, but we can, definitely talk about that later. But here's just a little picture that says this little one suffered from eczema, so his mom started using JuicePlus so he could benefit from it through breast milk at 2 months. And after 2 months, this happened. His skin is completely clear. I wish I would have known about this when I was pregnant with my son. He is almost 8 years old now because he actually had neonatal lupus, and he had a red rash all over his little body from the time he was born until he was like 6 months old. So I wish I would have known. So people might think you're crazy at first. I love this little one in the middle. At first they'll ask you why you're doing it, but later they will ask you how you did it. And if you understood residual income, you'd probably walk through a brick wall to get to it. And we all have residual bills, unfortunately, so why shouldn't we have residual income? And this is something really important that I thought about today, that the first wealth is health. If you don't have your health, then nothing else really matters. What good is having millions of dollars in the bank if you are stuck in a hospital bed because you have cancer? So I am so grateful that a couple years ago, a friend of mine told me about this, because I was literally probably a few years away from disability, started taking JuicePlus, and within a couple months was off my pain medication. And now I have been off pain medication, off antibiotics, off steroids for over a year. So, this is not just about the JuicePlus company, but it's really good points to keep in mind for whatever avenue you choose to take. Just think about all the important points that you want to check off your list. Is it consumable? Is this something that is doable? Do you have time to do this? Do you have the money to do this? Do you have the energy to do it? Whatever it is, whatever avenue that you choose to take. So as far as from me, I definitely invite you to join us on this mission, because it truly is a mission of inspiring healthy living around the world. If you have any questions, please feel free to get back with me. Sharon, I'm sure Janelle could give you my number. You can totally just reach out to me that way, or on Facebook. But I really, really appreciate you guys tuning in today, and I hope that this was helpful. Again, knowledge is power. So the more that we know, the more we can make a better decision about our futures. So thank you so much. Let me